Hey gang, how are you? It's Mobb Guppy, where the Guppy is the mob, live and in charge. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. It couldn't be more beautiful. It's kind of hot here in Joplin. I just 83, but it's gonna get up to like 90. 92. There you go, Logan. What's up, buddy? Getting used to this hot weather in the South? Logan just moved from the Pacific Northwest. Normally not that warm, even in the summer. Moved straight to Arkansas. Yeah, it gets a little warm. It's a little warm, but nice indeed. Nice indeed. I love. My only problem is my air conditioning cannot keep up that well. So I end up rain, muggy, 81. I wish we get some rain here. As of right now, let's see, hourly. There was rain, but it went north of us. So that was sad. We have a small chance of rain each hour, so I don't know. So there you go. I'm pro a little bit of water. We have not had rain here in a substantial thing in weeks. My yard is basically brown now. It's like I live in Las Vegas. So if I could get, a couple of inches of rain, that would be good. It would help. Just get the dust off. Maggie, the pooch, doing the dust, and she scratched the ground, and it was dust everywhere. For those of you who are dog owners, Doug Gray, Select Pet. Nice. Man refuses to allow digging on his property. Peter Dragon Thiel. That's right. I don't hang out with the rock stars like the Chewy does. The Chewy monster, and what he's calling himself Lunatic Fringe these days. But I'll just call him Chewy. That's what I do. Yeah, so I went and I picked up 12-pack of beer, put in the fridge, went got some groceries this morning. And as I'm getting the beer in the fridge, I figure out the beer which came out of the refrigerated section at Wally World, it was basically room temperature, so it must have just been put in. So that ain't going to be ready. So I think I will go to one of these places I like to go to where you pick out your own beers. I think I'm going to go do that. Put that in the fridge, and I'll have beer for tomorrow and on Monday. And I may pick up a little bottle of wine. So there you go. That's what's going on. Fish are great. Life's good. Last weekend, I had the world's worst traveling experience. So I had a celebration of life for a cousin of mine who died in November. He died of COVID, and which is unfortunate. He was really a good guy, my age. And even though we weren't as close as we were, hanging out like we were kids, still a good friend of mine, really respected him. Good man. So he may be with Avril or Amber Heard. Amber Heard I think she's radioactive to the gentleman these days. So I left. It was 12 noon in Minneapolis. I left at 2:20 in the morning. Arrived at about 11:15. The celebration of life was at noon. So I went to the Mall of America, where it's nice and cool, and hung out there for about a half hour or so. Then went over and did the thing, and it was a full out 4 hour deal. It was a barbecue. It could not have been a nicer time. It was a barbecue. It was it was very nice. So I went, enjoyed that. And when I was done with that, I went to get into the hotel. I was going to hang out with some friends. And I paid in advance through Expedia. That was kind of a real cluster stuff. Here's what happened. So I arrive at the family thing ends at about 4. I say goodbye to my aunt and uncle and cousins, and I head over to the hotel because I want to take a shower. I was really hot, and then go from there. So I arrive at the hotel. I prepaid for my reservation. They did not honor it. They said it's not in our system. You don't have a room. So I call Expedia. And for whatever reason, I hate paying a lot of money for a hotel room. I want to be in a hotel room that is nice and that you can sleep in. I don't want to be in the Roach Motel or where they rent by the hour or where everybody in there is doing meth. Like that middle level. So I was there for over 3 hours when finally Expedia, trying to work it out with them, said, okay, we've relocated you. You don't have to pay any extra money. And I went to the Radisson at the Mall of America. And they put me on, it was a 13 floor thing. I was on number 12. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. And it was, and let's see here. I paid like 110 for that one. And the starting room here at this one is the starting one is $203. So there you go. I was in a King. How much are they charging for this? Just out of So yeah, I stayed in a much nicer hotel. Petro Man, Joe Arcebe. Get a little rain in New Jersey today. So I'm gonna have to go get, because my beer that I picked up was room temperature. I put it in the fridge hour 45 minutes ago. Yeah. So that's gonna have to be tomorrow. I like my beer nice and cold. I don't like beer that's room temperature. So there you go. Yes. So even better than cold 45. I usually get like a plain beer. I've got Coors Light. And then I get the 6-pack of where you pick out individual ones. Boulevard, anyone who's in the Midwest, if you can get Boulevard, They make a whiskey barrel stout. Awesome. Really good. So I'm going to go pick that up. I'm going to pick up maybe a bottle of port or something and put that in get everything in the fridge. I've not had the Bud Platinum, so I'll have to give it a shot. So I usually get a variety of 6. The only one I normally always get is 1 or 2 of the Boulevard Whiskey Barrel Stouts. Really good. I usually will get an IPA, a couple of those, a lager or 2. Yeah, life's good. Life is good. So, and my fridge isn't cooling down fast, mainly because I put in like a 12 pack of, or actually it was a 24 pack of Diet Dr. Pepper, and that'll take forever to cool down. And I put in 36 of Dasani water. This is Ozarka, what I have left. This is cool. Life is good. Life is good. Yeah, it's I will say this for those of you who live in larger cities. When you live in a place like Joplin, Mo, you really don't have traffic. It's usually not a lot going on. It's the main drag, which is called Range Line, can be busy, especially on a day like today. But I have a feeling I'm going to go out and run these errands when we're done today. I bet you by the time I get there, it'll be really nice. No dancing girls here at my place today, sadly. Sadly, no dancing girls. I wish there were. I'm in favor of the dancing girls. In favor of them. So so I get to the hotel, I take a shower, I'm exhausted. It's by the time I'm out of the shower, it's like 8:30. I'm not going out. I just went to sleep. Morning I get up, go to beautiful. I go to beautiful Isanti County, Minnesota, about an hour north of the Twin Cities, to pick up Maggie. Yeah, it was good. It was good eating. And yeah, so I had a nice time there. Picked her up, and at about 12:30, I left an hour north of the Twin Cities, and I had to eat, take Maggie for a couple of walks, that type of stuff. By the time that was done, uh, I got home at about 11 p.m. So, and you have to walk Maggie a few times and then go to sleep. So I had Monday off, but I had an event I had to attend on Monday, which was later in the day. I was fried all week. So yeah, there's going in. Fish stuff, I'm going to work on fish stuff today. I actually have to set up to do my water changes tomorrow. Other stuff going on. Yeah, it's good news. Maggie is not gun shy. Here's the bad news. She wanted to go outside and watch the fireworks last night. Missouri, you can set off fireworks. Supposed to be done at 11 o'clock. One of my neighbors who lives on the other side of the cop, he promptly uh, started setting off fireworks at midnight. Supposed to be done 11, started at midnight. So of course Maggie heard it, and I had to go out. They were doing it pretty good. Normally, the next door neighbor, who's the cop, they set off fireworks that would remind you of what it must be like in Kiev, Ukraine, on an everyday. I mean, it is absolutely hammered. And so that'll be tomorrow night, unless for a reason they do their celebration tonight, which I sort of hope they're doing. You just sold 7/7/8 discus that you raised from eggs that only fed live blackworms. Good for you. Good for you. By the way, over the last few days, I've had a couple of friends of mine, two couples that announced their divorces. I think their marriages were absolutely impacted in a bad way by COVID. I think they were stuck in their homes together for hours upon end, not looking at anyone else but each other, and I think it killed their marriages. My opinion. It all of a sudden, when you're with somebody 24 hours a day, and you've been married for 15 years, you probably figure out that you don't really know the person. Your COVID divorce story worked out for the best. No more denial. Yeah. My divorce was a good thing. It was tough to go through. My divorce was before COVID. Mine was finalized a little over 2 years ago. It was January of 2020. But we had been apart since 2017. So it wasn't like we were separated for a year before I filed. Anybody who goes through a divorce, if you haven't gone through one, it's not fun. So there you go. Navy CBs love the nurses. Yeah, I like nurses. When I was in my 20s, I was dating a couple of different nurses at the same time. We have to get back to the nurse thing. Yeah, I'll tell you what, my divorce. Now, I regret that I had to go through a divorce. But it was the right thing to do. I will say this: if my ex-wife and I had kids together, I probably would have suffered it out. I probably would have, pushed it through and made that work. And waited for the kids to grow up to pull the trigger for divorce. So, because I think sometimes, and I'm not being critical if you got a divorce and you guys had kids, that are still in school, 18 and under. What I believe is that you have to do what you can to make it work for the kids. And I know it isn't easy, and it's easy enough for me to say, yada yada yada. My ex-wife and I didn't have kids. The only thing we were negotiating was the debt that she rang up. So I'm glad my it's the other thing is about marriage. It only works if you and the spouse are equally committed to make it work. There you go. Good stuff, Select Pet. And again, sometimes, I went to high school with a guy whose parents were divorced and remarried, and his parents and their new spouses sat together at every school function, and that's healthy. A lot of times that isn't how it works. A lot of times there's one parent that is it could be the man or the woman. I'm not, that's sort of the stuff. So yeah, COVID divorces. Yeah, it's yeah, and work through. It's but if you're on the same track as your spouse, even when you run into rough patches, you can work through it. That's that's the only thing I'm saying. It's that's so my mom, I'll tell you, my parents were married for 53 years. And it was, and I remember this story. I flew out. My dad was early in dementia. My mom broke her hip and arm. And so I flew out to Washington State to Bellingham, where my parents were living. And my mom was sharing a room. And my mom was sharing a room with a gal that was probably 2021 and had some sort of a facial infection. Her face was sort of puffed up. It's so the gal, we came in. My dad and I came in to hang out with my mom for the day, and the gal said, "Gee, I found out you guys have been married for 53 years. How do you do that?" And my mom looked down towards the ground and just said, "Honey, it takes work. It takes work." Yeah, my parents, I'm sure, had rough patches that we didn't know about. There you go. So that's what we do here at, if you just joined us for Mob Guppy, where the Guppy is the mob. We talk pretty much about everything. I will say this: I have no problem with marriage. It's I would like to get married again. When the marriage was working, it was working great. It was when it fell apart is when it fell apart. So it's so the fish. Except we never talk about digging. Yeah. Thanks, Petro Man. Yeah, again, make it work, gang. Do what you can. Sometimes you can't do anything. I couldn't do anything to save my marriage. I would have, it's getting a divorce not easy. It's not. By the way, negotiating with the attorneys and with the judge, insane. I ended up paying off several $1,000s of her debt. So, but it was it was cheaper. So there you go. Yeah, so the fish, yeah, they're doing great. I've not been paying attention to selling as many fish this year, and I need to really start kicking in. I sold some fish, which is really weird with the swordtails. Anybody who's gotten the swordtails from me, They reproduce pretty liberally, and you usually get a pretty good, a good mix. It's for me, it's about 50-50. You know, ultimately, you'd always like it to be, 70% female and the rest males. But for me, it's about 50-50. And here's what so I got a note from a guy, wanted to know if he could buy some females from me. He bought a trio of sword-tailed guppies from me in I'm guessing I'll have to look back, but I think it was about a year ago. He said they're reproducing. He goes, I have a bunch, and all of a sudden I have no females. All I have are males. Can you send me some females? Sure. So I told him they're not going. He just contacted me like Thursday, and I just said, hey, I'll send you them, but they can't go out until July 11th. Because that's the way it works. So I'll send him an extra female and a male, just go from there. And I believe I know which normally I mix up the genetics on these things, so I don't know. Is what it is. Doug Gray, are your swordtails reproducing yet? Yeah, I'm not going to ship on Tuesday. I have learned, by the way, shipping a day after a holiday, and quite frankly, the week before, if I have a problem with shipping fish, those are my 2 times. And oh, excellent. Well, that's weird. Ah, the male person just it's I have a male lady and a male man. And the male lady, if I'm out walking Maggie, always has a treat. You probably have 50 fry. Yes, I was doing laundry. That was the dryer. Good times. Yeah, good times. Yeah. So I had to do some laundry. I haven't done laundry in about in a couple of weeks. So last weekend, obviously, I didn't. So there you go. Let's see what other things can I share with you. Thank you very much, Select Bet. Yeah, well, every one of us does laundry, cooks dinner, eats, drinks. Every one of us, have aquariums that all of a sudden go by the wayside. It's just what it is. Saw the Elvis movie, which I thought was very good. Also, Lightyear was a good movie, but got some bad reviews. I think the deal is with the Lightyear movie is that it is not making the money they expected to. The Elvis movie, I have heard different things. Now, some of the early reviews were like a mixed bag. The friends of mine who have seen it have been all about it, but they've been Elvis fans. I'm not much of an Elvis fan. So there you go. Yeah, Petroman, I get it. I get it. Yeah, the Elvis movie, if people liked and appreciated Elvis, I hear you're just in love with it. And the early reviews, it was like really people either loved the damn thing or they hated it. Don't ask me why. I have no idea why. A lot of very good blues music in it. Yeah. One would help that it would be they would show the roots of Elvis. Did they bring up Sister Rosetta Tharpe? Thanks, Joe. Yeah, again. Hey, Jeff Valley Fish, how are you? Oh, they did bring up Sister Rosetta Tharpe. If you guys are not familiar with Sister Rosetta Tharpe, she should have been in the original Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When they first did their first deal, she should have been there. Because without Rosetta Tharpe, there's no Johnny Cash, there's no Elvis, there's none of the Memphis guys. Excellent, Jeff. Jeffrey Cunningham, how are you? Yeah, so without Sister Rosetta Tharpe, there, you know, rock and roll would not exist. And so there you go. You've been told the Elvis movie is good. People say a lot is false. I watched an interview about it where the director said it's not a bio, it's a superhero movie. So they made a lot of the stuff to make Elvis a hero. Yeah, my deal is with the Elvis is that, is that he obviously, he was an absolute cornerstone of American rock and roll. No question. First real big star of that era. The problem obviously is old Elvis, old fat Elvis. And dealing with the addiction and stuff like that. And I understand they also, a buddy of mine, she saw it. She said, if she thought it was good, she thought the gal that played Priscilla was pretty, but not as pretty as Priscilla. But she said they didn't quite bring up that Priscilla was 14 when they met. So there you go. Do they show fat Elvis, fat old Elvis in the jumpsuits? Just paying attention to younger Elvis. Not much of the fat Elvis. By the way, dying, we all have to live by our own mortality. At some point, we're all going to die, right? And the age difference is part of the superhero stuff. Yeah, so me too, baby. Me too. Best Elvis song? In my opinion, and this is sort of what I think is more of a mid-level Elvis song, obviously not early, was Suspicious Minds. I think Suspicious Minds is the best Elvis song. I'm glad you like that, Jeffrey. Yeah, because you go through and you look at the different eras and stuff. The other thing about it is that obviously he had no one in his life who told him no. I think that's one of the problems that happens for a lot of people who are very creative, very successful, musicians or actors or what have you. They're surrounded by a bunch of people who just hit them with yes all the time, no matter how stupid the thing was. Prince, there was a story about Prince that apparently at like 3 a.m., like on Christmas Eve, he called his personal assistant wanting to know if he could find a camel to put in the lobby of Paisley Park. And the guy goes, "It's Christmas. Good luck even finding where a camel is in 30 below Minnesota." So there you go. Yeah, good times had by all. My by the way, one of the things that I've gone through personally, uh and for you guys who are a little bit younger, this is good to know if you're somebody like my age, in their 50s. So there you go. They showed previews to Avatar 2, which looks very good. Only 12 years late. Yeah. James Cameron, you know, he's a little bit of a perfectionist, a little crazy, a little good. So I may be getting some rain here. I washed the car, so hopefully that's a high sign. Sadly, though, in my little world, is that I have a membership at a car wash, so I can technically wash my thing every year. Hey, Bob Kaler in the house. Hey, Doug loved your performance in the Elvis movie. He'd been telling us that. He said you were amazing. The other thing about Elvis is that obviously the guy wasn't healthy and obviously he was a drug addict. The people claiming he was alive for all those years. No mention the move of Bob's blue suede shoes. Obviously a bad movie. If they're not bringing that up, Bob's blue suede shoes. My Yeah, Avatar 2, I'm kind of excited about seeing that. It's blue gals wearing blue colored gals with wings flying. I like that. I'm in favor. Yeah, Jeffrey, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm sure it will, Doug Ray. I'm sure it will. James Cameron is an interesting guy. He's been married about 7 times. He did marry Linda Hamilton. They were married for about a year or two. And I have not tried the avatar filter. Has anyone? I'm all in. If anyone's tried that, love to hear. No, we're not talking about fish. Apparently, it's a 3D filter to make you look like you're in Avatar. So there you go. Not tried it. Not tried it. I will say this, gang, is that for most of us when we were kids, a big movie would have pop culture ramifications going on forever. And now it really doesn't because it's there's just so much content. I have so many streaming services. There's so much stuff to watch that everything is so diversified, it's almost impossible. Almost impossible to go out and figure things out. Which I find interesting and perplexing all at the same time. Movies get released and most are gone 3 weeks, then on streaming and DVD. Yep. And DVDs, are they still selling the way they used to? Or are people just downloading the digital version to their laptop? It would seem to me most people are downloading it. Because now it's so easy to feed your TV and play it. In some ways, if you have a family, downloading it, downloading is probably even cheaper. Might as well just download the damn thing. Yeah. Yeah, Jeffrey, you're right. You're exactly correct. So a couple of notes here. It let me tell you about Maggie. Maggie did well in the show. She didn't pick up any points. The breeders want to take her out again. They want her to grow up a little bit more. She needs to fill out. She's too light and she'll only eat what she wants to eat. And they don't, she is what she is. She looks good. She just needs to gain weight. So we're taking her out again. November, December, we'll go out again. Now, the discussion came about when she has her puppies, who will be the daddy, and her baby daddy may be a half brother sharing the same father. So we're still discussing that. We haven't quite made made that step yet. So we'll find out what's going on there. So And I kind of like the dog that they're talking about. So we'll find out. And a little inbreeding. This is actually okay. Yeah, it is cheaper for the studio and people download. Exactly correct. So and probably more profitable all at the same time. Um, yeah, so Maggie, she's funny. So she got back. Um, she has grown up quite a bit, which is good. Is this an Instagram thing? Oh, is the real avatar filter on Instagram? Let me take a look. Let me log in. I can upload something. All right, let me find a picture. Okay, I'm uploading one. Let's see if it allows me to. It doesn't have it in the online version, I don't think. I'll check with my cell phone. Yeah, she's a year old. She's not pregnant. She won't be pregnant for another year. Be at the age of 2. That'd be good. Doug Gray, if you can figure out how to use that, maybe that'll be good for your first live stream. Bob, you'd be in it. Now I have a question. I'm going to look on my Instagram. Okay, let's see if they give me an avatar. Yeah, a lot more choices. Nashville, Inkwell, Willow. Yeah, not what I'm after. Discard. You have a short on Instagram of you. Do you have the Apple or do you have the Droid phone, Bob? Who did kill Kenny? Yeah, there he is. Let's see if I'm like missing it. You have Apple? Yeah, it may not be available for Android yet. May not be available for Android yet. Yeah, that's not the update they gave me. They gave me for the police scanner radio. which has big crime things. Sometimes 5,000 people are listening to one deal. And so it's kind of neat to listen to. And let me try this real quick. I need, by the way, to get a new phone. My phone actually functions well. I have the Samsung S10, like the pickup, and I like it. It works really well. It's a little over 3 years old. It's we don't have enough 5G in my area yet for me to think about it. So there you go. If anyone has an Android phone, a guy named DB Aquatics asked me to use pics of my fish to put in his tropical fish app. It's only on Android, so I haven't seen it. Huh. That's interesting. Let's see here. Let me see if I have that app available to me. DB Aquatics. Hamilton Aquatics. Let's see here. I'm not seeing it. I am not seeing it at all. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, Doug. If anybody else has it, let me know. Oh, DB Guppies? Okay, let me look. My Guppy Fish Guide. Let's see here. Betta Fish. Aquarium Shop. The Aquarium Calculator. Tools. I bet you that sucker spyware like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. When you email him, ask him for the exact name and text it to me, Doug. I'd like to give it a shot. Guppy Fish Guide. Anybody else looking for this thing? Let's see. Guppy Fish Guide. I don't know. Figure it out. Bob is looking for his blue suede shoes. Yeah, I can't find it either, so it's all good. All good indeed. All right, gang, I need to hit it. Gotta get junk done. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Because I think I'm gonna be able to be here. Have a good one. Adios, amigos.